Hey there, this is Liz, and I wanted to give you a quick overview of my cocktails database and server. So, starting pretty simple, built a database with a schema and seed file that I hard-coded with roughly 50 different cocktails with names, ingredient, or and/or recipe, and from there moved into my server.js and just downloaded or imported, sorry, all of the middleware. There's a lot here. I did not end up using all of it, but when I'm planning on building out a larger app, I figure better start big, and then you can always make it a little tighter and smaller from there. So after importing all the middleware and requiring as needed, I got started with my model. The model has only one file because I only have one table. I kept it very small and simple with this version. And it has a find all query, a find one, create, update, and delete. In a previous version, and hopefully in a future version again, I had a find by fixin, or in other words, find by ingredient query. So, for example, the user would be able to type into a search box or select a checkbox or something to say, I am looking for a cocktail with tequila or with lime or with coconut, and this query would, it's a very simple version of it, but it would search the database for anything where the column fixings is like, and then whatever the user inputted. Like I said, it's not in this version. I ended up commenting it out here, but in future versions, I would love to bring that back and make it a little fancier here. After building out the model, I went into my cocktails controller and kind of built a parallel set of functions. First requiring the models, and then I have a getAll, which correlates to the findAll in the previous model file. Find one, create, make it blank cocktail because needed that. Destroy and update. Still my debuggers in there, sorry. Still doing a little bit of cleanup, but and then I also have retrieve all functions, or I'm sorry, retrieve all cocktails with certain fixings and store them in the res.locals. So this one correlates to the other function that I've commented out in the models, but hopefully I'll be bringing that back. And then after that, went into my router, started filling this out, requiring Express, and bringing in my cocktails controller. Later on I ended up bringing in my view controller, but that'll be a little later on. And then combining the Express router and writing my routers. Some of these have the view controller as well. Obviously that came in a little bit later, but yeah. So after starting the cocktail router, I went to, I'll show you over here I guess, views, and I started building out all my views. Lots of fun little views. So for example, the show all view, they're all pretty short individually, but this one has an include, so it brings in the boilerplate view, which is in partials here. And that's just your standard HTML boilerplate. And then heading, or pick a number 1 through 50, and you should be able to insert a number 1 through 50, and that'll take you to that specific cocktail. And then, let's see, another include for partials footer, which is your basic closing information. Alright, and that in a nutshell is this project. This one, I had a more complicated version and decided to pare down a little bit and clean this up, so I had something more manageable for the deadline here. I'll let you take a quick peek. The CSS is sadly lacking, but again, lots of updates and edits that I would still like to make to this. So, without further ado, pick your poison, peruse cocktails, or pick a number 1 through 50 and be surprised. I'm planning to add a little box right underneath this line here, where obviously the user will pick a number 1 through 50 and it'll correlate to one of these cocktail IDs. And let's say I picked number 7, I would get back the time release and the ingredients and directions to make said time release. Yeah, and then also here you can delete the cocktail. I could show you that, but I'm not going to because I would prefer not to delete them at this current time. You can also edit cocktails. Say I wanted to capitalize the G in gin, so why not? You can either go back to cocktails if you're like, nah, I decide not to, just wanted to see. Or update cocktail, da 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 da, fizz bubble clink, you did it, capital G. And that's that. Alright, thank you for watching.